This video is for Lab 4, Managing VM Movement. We're only going to use 3 machines for this one. The domain controller, server 1 and server 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my storage O1, and right click and shut that down since I don't need it. Find out what I have left running. There's storage. Shut down. Continue. And I'll just minimize that for now to get it out of the way. Okay. So this lab, we are going to move a virtual machine file to a different location, move a virtual machine to another host, make a copy of a virtual machine, export and import a virtual machine, and configure computers for live migration. The estimated time for this lab is approximately 65 minutes. The first exercise, we're going to go ahead and do a move of the virtual machine storage location, and we're going to use Hyper-V to create a virtual machine and move the storage location of a virtual machine to another storage location. Hyper-V supports 3 types of migration, and we're going to look at those during these exercises. So the first thing we want to do is log into server 2 as Contoso administrator. So I don't think I've done that yet in a previous exercise, so we'll go ahead and do that now. So I'll go ahead and right click and sign out. And we'll go ahead and log in. Click our back button, other user. And on server 2, we're going to go into the server manager, click on Tools, and Hyper-V Manager. And then we're going to right click server 2 and do New Virtual Machine. And then next, we're going to type in test VM. Then we're going to click to select the virtual machine in a different location. And we're going to type in C:, get rid of this stuff right here. VM. And then click on Next. Okay, we're going to let it default to generation 1. And then click on Next. And we're only going to assign 256. Oops. For startup memory, we're going to go ahead and apply use dynamic memory, and then click on Next. On the configure networking page, we're going to leave this blank for now and just click on Next. Here we're going to type in test. Actually, the name is already in here. And we only want 5 gig. Test VM. So we'll go ahead and do next. And then we're going to do an operating system later. So we'll leave that check marked. And then click on finish. So we're going to go ahead and click on server 2, right click our test VM, and click on move, and next. Alright, here we want to select move the virtual machine storage. So I'm going to click on here, and then next, and then here we're going to go ahead and just take the default and do next. It's already going to select it to go to a single location. The folder, we're going to type in C:/VM2. And then next, and finish. Now we're going to right click test VM and settings, and click on hard drive. We're going to get it under IDE controller. Here it is. And that is the end of that exercise. So we're going to go ahead and click on OK. The next exercise is we're going to move a virtual machine to another host. We're going to use a storage migration to move a virtual machine to a second Hyper-V host. So again, we are still on server 2, and we're going to still use the Hyper-V manager. We're going to choose Hyper-V settings, which is right here. And we want to click Live Migration, and then we're going to select the box Enable Incoming and Outgoing, which is already selected. And then in the incoming live migrations, we're going to select Use Any Available Network for live migration, and then we're going to go ahead and click on OK to close the Hyper-V settings dialog box. Now we're going to log off of server 2. And log into server 1. And we're already signed in as Contoso administrator. So I just want to log back in. And then close out a failover cluster manager that we used for the previous lab, because we don't need that right now. From the server manager, we're going to click on Tools and Hyper-V Manager. Right click server 1, and choose Hyper-V settings. In the server section, we're going to click the live migrations, and under live migrations we're going to select the box enable incoming and outgoing, which is already selected. And in the incoming live migrations, we're going to select use any available network for live migration. We're going to click on OK to close the Hyper-V settings and log off of server 1. Now, according to the instructions in the lab, it wants us to log back into server 1 as the Contoso administrator, and then log back onto server 2 as the Contoso administrator. So there is server 1. And there's server 2. So we're going to log on to these as Contoso administrator. Same thing here. Oops. And we're going to go over to server 2 and click on Tools, Hyper-V Manager. And then we're going to select server 2. And right-click Test Machine. And move. And next. Choose move type. We want to move the virtual machine, which is already selected. And next. And here we're going to type in server 01. And then move data to a single location, which is already selected. So we're going to click on next. Choose a new location. So we're going to do C:/VM. Next. And finish. I'm going to pause the video for a moment while we wait for the move to be completed. Okay, now that that is done moving, I'm going to go ahead and close out of Hyper-V here. And again, that was server 2 that we just did that. So we basically moved it over to server 1. So I'm going to click on Tools, Hyper-V Manager, and here we see the test VM that's been moved. Okay, now we're going to copy a virtual machine. And so we're going to export and import a virtual machine using Hyper-V. If we're working with another partner company which created a virtual machine running Windows Server 2012 R2, which has several customized programs and services that you'd like to implement at your company, instead of going through the actual installation and configuration, you could implement a copy of a virtual machine on your Hyper-V host. So on server 1, we're going to go into Hyper-V Manager, which we are already in. I'm going to minimize server 2, just get that out of the way. And we're going to right-click the test VM, and we're going to choose Export. And we're going to type in C:/C:/BAK. And then export. And then we're going to right click server 1 and choose import virtual machine. And next. And under the location folder, we're going to type in C::BAK test VM. I'm going to do browse, see if I can find it. C:, there it is. There's my BAK. There is my test VM. And we're going to select folder, and next, and then the test VM is already selected, and next, and on the choose import type page, we're going to copy the virtual machine or create a new unique ID, and then next. And under the choose folders for virtual machines file, we're going to select to store the virtual machine in a different location. And here we want to type in C:/VM2. And then next. Next, and finish. And that is the end of Lab 4.